So welcome again to our discussions, extended discussions about the Abrahamic Covenant. We've chosen to focus on two sentences from the title page of the Book of Mormon, which was written by Moroni, the ancient prophet. And these two sentences refer to the important purpose of the Book of Mormon. Would you like to start us on that, Tom?
Which is to show unto the remnant of the house of Israel what great things the Lord hath done for their fathers, and that they may know the covenants of the Lord, that they are not cast off forever.
And also to the convincing of the Jew and Gentile that Jesus is the Christ, the eternal God, manifesting himself unto all nations.
Okay, so it's two wonderful sentences there. Any thoughts that you want to share?
Absolutely. I revert to a thought I've mentioned several times, which is the idea of a great God doing great things. The phrase there is to show to the remnant of the house of Israel the great things the Lord has done for their fathers. How important it is that we remember those great things that the Lord has done for the fathers. And we are the children of the house of Israel. Abraham is the father of the faithful. And as we are faithful, we are his sons and daughters. I love the idea also that remnant will remember and know the covenants of the Lord. It's so important that we remember we are a covenant people. In times of challenge and difficulty and hardship and diversion, our covenants keep us anchored. They keep us rooted to each other, to our families, and to God. And also that they are not cast off forever. We might be cast off for a season, but we're not cast off forever if we come to this covenant and remember that this is a great covenant from a great God.
And I'll focus on the same line actually. We talk about Isaiah's prophecy of a marvelous work and a wonder. The latter-day work is marvelous work and wonder. What we have to understand is the Lord has always worked through marvelous works and wonders because he's a marvelous and wonderful being. And part of the purpose of this marvelous work and wonder is so that we'll understand that his works have always been wonderful and marvelous. And we'll see that in the light of experiencing it. There's also the other idea of, in the second part, that Christ manifests himself unto all nations. And one of the ways he does that is by fulfilling the covenant he made to Abraham.
Very good. I think it's very important to recognize once again that what the Lord often does is bring our minds back to the past, to those who have gone before, to those who have set righteous examples, the fathers, the mothers of ancient Israel, and to remind ourselves of how God engaged with them as a motivation for us to look forward. There is a lovely phrase here that the convincing of the Jews and Gentiles that Jesus is the Christ, the eternal God, manifesting himself unto all nations. There's a connection between the covenants of the Lord and the extent to which you're convinced that Jesus is the Christ and the eternal God manifesting himself, not just to all nations, but to you as an individual. So I love this statement written by Moroni, and as Elder Holton has said beforehand, reiterated by Moroni to the prophet Joseph Smith. When he visited him, he taught him, this isn't just salvation for you. This isn't just you coming out to Christ. There's a covenant that's going to connect you with your fathers and the fathers with the children. The very thing he quoted, the very first thing, we're going to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers, to the promises made to the fathers. Well, those fathers aren't just those who have gone before who never heard. They're those who had heard and who knew. And the promises that were made to them, that the book of Mormon would come forth in the last days, and that it would restore their children to that knowledge that they once had. And how privileged we are to be able to testify that Jesus is the Christ, the Messiah, the eternal God manifesting himself to all nations. And the Book of Mormon, he does that more fully than in any other book of Scripture that we have.